On what seemed like an ordinary day in Qianzhen, strange notifications suddenly appeared on everyone's phones. One young man stared at his screen in confusion after receiving a message claiming to be from another world. The message congratulated him for being selected to test a hyper-realistic virtual reality game called Condemned World, and instructed him to fill out his information and sign a contract to participate. It also claimed that brave warriors were needed to defend a world threatened by terrifying monsters. Thinking it was nothing more than a ridiculous scam, he tossed his phone onto the table and returned to talking with his friend, who was already yelling through their voice chat. After apologizing for the distraction, he mentioned the strange message he had received, only to discover that many others had gotten the same notification. Meanwhile, in another world, a group of observers watched everything unfold through a massive screen. To their surprise, almost everyone rejected the invitation, immediately believing it was some kind of fraud. As a result, not a single person entered the game. An elf watching the screen could hardly believe it, and wondered how nobody accepted the offer. Standing beside her, a young man named Aaron explained that the outcome was exactly what they expected. Most people ignore unknown messages without even reading them. Fortunately, he already had another plan in mind. Aaron had once been a student at Qianzhen University. His father passed away when he was still young, and years later his mother became seriously ill. To help pay for her treatment, he gave up his studies and worked long hours as a delivery rider. One day, while making a delivery, disaster struck. A speeding truck suddenly appeared and crashed into him, sending him flying across the road. Lying on the ground covered in injuries, Aaron could feel his strength fading away. Believing his life was coming to an end, he closed his eyes with only one thought in mind. At least he had done everything he could. Then a mysterious voice called out to him. Aaron opened his eyes and instantly realized something was wrong. He clearly remembered dying, yet somehow he was still alive. Confused and unable to understand where he was, he followed the voice. It introduced itself and revealed that he was now on the continent of Aulu, home of the ancient Haimai elf tribe. The voice came from an enormous tree standing among the ruins of a forgotten village. Even more shocking, the tree referred to him as a hero who had been awaited for over 200 years. Aaron could only stare in disbelief. Before him stood a talking tree. The ancient being explained that it served as the guardian of the sacred Noah tree. Then it presented a mysterious artifact and instructed Aaron to place his blood upon it. Only then would the contract be complete. Aaron assumes the artifact is the strange stone in front of him. Before he can figure it out, monsters suddenly appear and rush straight at him. Startled, he turns around only to find them already within attack range. One monster slams the ground with enough force to leave him speechless. Then a two-headed wolf charges forward, bites into him, and throws him straight into the stone. Aaron crashes to the ground and looks up at the monsters. At this point, he can only think one thing. No way I'm dying twice. But then something unexpected happens. Blood from his wounds lands on the artifact. The stone instantly begins glowing with a powerful light. Even the monsters back away in fear. A few seconds later, lightning rains down from the sky and wipes them out. Right after that, an elf appears and congratulates Aaron for completing the Noah contract. A mission window pops up in front of him. His first task is to recruit 2 heroes, and the reward is 50 arc points. He also receives a special leader outfit that boosts his defense and lets him see information about living beings. Aaron is shocked when the outfit suddenly appears on his body. Confused, he asks the elf if she was the voice speaking to him earlier and demands to know what's going on. The elf introduces herself as Lillian from the Jaime clan. She explains that 500 years ago, Emperor Malong led a massive monster army and nearly conquered the entire continent. The heroes fought back but suffered one defeat after another. With no other choice, the High Elves used powerful magic to seal the surviving heroes inside the Noah crystal. Over time, that crystal became the giant Noah tree. Lillian tells Aaron that he's the person they've been waiting centuries for. She wants him to lead the heroes and take back the continent from the monsters. Aaron isn't sold on the idea. This isn't a game, and if he dies here, he's dead for real. That's when Lillian reveals that Emperor Malong possesses a legendary gem capable of granting any wish. Hearing that, Aaron immediately thinks about his sick mother. Even so, he decides to stay cautious and only cooperate until he understands this world better. When he asks what comes next, Lillian explains that Earth can be connected to this world. Through the Noah contract, people from Earth can enter the bodies of sleeping heroes and bring them back to life. And just as she finishes explaining, 2 new players arrive. She says she understands the plan since all she needs to do is send him to someone she trusts. Because of this, the system congratulates him for completing the mission, and he receives 50 arc energy points. Another glow appears nearby, and Lillian explains that the arc energy he now possesses is enough to exchange for level C materials. She then asks him to step into the magic circle and claim his reward. Aaron agrees and extends his hand. Once again, the glow becomes increasingly intense. The system congratulates him and informs him that he has obtained a giant rusted iron sword, a magic map, and 2 loaves of bread. The rewards are transferred directly to him, and the sword immediately appears in his hand, increasing his attack attribute by 10. Although the sword has no special attributes, he realizes that even a weak weapon is better than having nothing to defend himself against monsters. Lillian then explains that a new mission has appeared. He must collect 1,000 pieces of wood, and the reward will be 100 arc energy points. Eren is horrified by the enormous amount of wood he needs to gather. Afterward, he crosses through the portal and encounters the same monsters he saw earlier. However, he quickly notices that they seem unable to approach the Noah tree and wonders why they are being kept away. Lillian explains that after completing the Noah contract, the tree temporarily creates a protective barrier that prevents monster invasions. However, the barrier will disappear after 1 month. She also tells him that he can check the exact range of the barrier on the magic map. After taking a closer look at the map, Eren feels relieved knowing he will not have to worry about monster attacks while gathering wood. While studying the map, he notices what appears to be a village not far from the edge of the protected area. He thinks it might be worth visiting the next day since he could potentially trade for tools and other useful supplies. Just as he finishes thinking about it, his stomach begins to growl. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out a loaf of bread. Although some time has passed, he is unsure whether it is still safe to eat. Lillian reassures him that there is nothing to worry about. Inside the Tree of Noah time is completely frozen, meaning everything remains in the exact condition it was in when it was sealed. With no other choice, Eren decides to eat the bread. Even so, he realizes that he needs to find a reliable source of food. It is unlikely that food will always be given as a reward, and he could eventually starve if he depends on it.